dozens of hours a week watching sports, making it one of the most dominant forms of pastime. But why? For many individuals, sports have long been gatherings going beyond entertainment. It fosters a sense of community belonging among audiences. This sense of connection does not only make individuals feel more economic, but also benefits society by improving health, enhancing productivity, and reducing crime. Today, sports remain prevalent in U.S. society, occupying more than 88% of citizens' free time. A testimony from Anna Killian, longtime baseball enthusiast, states that at Candlestick Park has always felt more like a room in my childhood home, full of faded memories, familiar smells, and an odd kind of comfort. This leads me to my research question. To what extent does sportsmen contribute to a sense of belonging, nostalgia, and a sense of well-being in America today? To further learn about this, an environmental lens must be considered. If sports continues to be watched at stadiums compared to online, it will accelerate the dismantling of the environment. Joy Guru declares that 85% of greenhouse gas emissions created by major sports events come from the travel and accommodation of fans. Most of the automobile's environmental impact, perhaps 80 to 90%, come from the fuel consumption and emissions. Climate scientists say air pollution and greenhouse gases are driving global warming. Guru research on gas emissions from vehicles gains significance when viewed from the context of its future. By stating its findings in the future, Guru emphasizes the urgent need for a way to reduce carbon emissions in order to save the environment. Finally, a cultural social lens must be considered. A study from the University of Georgia declares that the metaverse will be the future of sports watching, as their study found that participants that watched the 2022 FIFA World Cup, both online and in person, said that they would all rather watch it online. In the metaverse, we can communicate with our own voices and people nearby will hear, said Chen. We can also communicate by typing, texting, or with emojis, and other users can see those above our avatars. We can communicate via our avatar's body language, such as waves. The ability to communicate with others in the experience was a driving force for participants who said they would rather participate in similar events in the future. Users also enjoyed the opportunity to reconnect with distant friends and build new relationships in the virtual space. This graph, created by researchers at Statistica, shows that many views the NFL has gotten over a 7-year span. In 2010, 17.9 million people were reported watching sports. Yet in 2017, just 7 years later, that number declined by 3 million to 14.9 million. This drastic decrease correlates with major leagues like the NFL and MLB still having large fan bases, but overall TV ratings have become less consistent as the ideal way to view sports has changed. Overall, the number of viewers has been declining, causing a loss of money to the major sports associations. So that needs to be assessed so sports broadcasters can find a better way to draw people in. After recognizing the complexity of the issue, I've developed two potential solutions. One way for sports broadcasting companies to increase viewership is to create a metaverse. This means that viewers will use a VR headset to view sporting events from their virtual arena at their own home. Some limitations may be regulating framework continuing to lag technological innovations, particularly in areas such as data privacy and cybersecurity. Equally important, as the average VR headset costs an average of $400, but in order to receive the full experience, a premium version of the VR headset could be purchased with an average cost of $600 plus. This solution is important because it will encourage more fans to watch sports and people can do it in the comfort of their own homes without having to deal with the hassles of driving out to sports arenas, while still building social connections and reducing CO2 emissions into the atmosphere. Since the limitations outweigh the implications, I've developed a stronger solution. They should lean into short-form content instead of fighting it. Platforms like YouTube and TikTok have changed attention spans, so sports organizations should continue posting highlights, behind-the-scene clips, and quick recaps. This shouldn't replace games, but it should keep fans engaged that can actually bring them back to watching live events over time. A limitation could be reducing people's willingness to watch full games since they can just view the clips online. They don't necessarily watching a full game highlight. Simplifications may be, it would bring a greater revenue to sports broadcasting associations, and it would bring more jobs since they would need people to edit their short form videos. This is my works cited page. But overall, the problem is causing broadcasting networks and the environment to be damaged, and without changes made to how sports are viewed, the environment will continue to be harmed and companies will continue to lose money over time. These are my works cited pages. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Yes. We'll get started with the first question. How valid and reliable are the sources that you have used? How do you know? And which sources did not work?
The sources I used were immensely reliable as they were Tier 1 studies and articles. This is evident as they were peer-reviewed, published through academic associations, and focused on in-depth original research.
The next question. Explain the level of certainty you have about your conclusion.
I have a high level of certainty about my conclusion as it took a high number of credible sources and thoroughly reading through all the information. Additionally, I feel that this topic is easily overlooked, and if the individual with no prior knowledge were to read my conclusion, they would understand and recognize that watching sports is immensely helpful in terms of self-improvement.